Yes, guys, we are back. Sorry about that, but you're going to have to listen to us yammer on for a little bit longer. The last game of the night is just around the corner. Third place DiNG challenges 10th place Penta Sports here. DiNG with a great game last week, looking a lot better. Penta doing Penta things like they always seem to do, actually. They gravitate, between effing terrible and somewhat decent, and it's just back and forth, really. At the moment, they're in 10th, so they've got a bit of work to do. Hacky knows I love him, but my God, consistency hasn't really been on Penta's side this season.
No, I mean, they had the excuse at the beginning of the season where they were like, okay, we're not playing that many games, but now they have to start upping their game, basically. Okay, they lost against, that's the last one, and DiNG has just been on a roll, like beating people left, right, and centre. They absolutely smashed Synergy, completely wrecked them. I think it was like 5-0, and you saw how well Synergy played. Well, how well Synergy played against Cancer Crew yesterday, and it's not a mean feat. And I think we can be pretty impressed by DiNG. I mean, they're in their element. They know how they're playing, they know how well they're playing, and they're definitely a team you have to look out to beat. And Penta Sports, they definitely want to be getting this top 6 just to have a chance at the pre-playoffs. And I feel like every team, Penta has to catch up some games, will be wanting to get into a top 6 position right now.
DiNG looking very good, obviously, from last week. Their Ghost Town was a 5-0, like you said, against Synergy. Their Ghost Town was really, really good. That's going to be our second map of the night, so they choose Ghost Town and Ruinberg, unsurprisingly, here. And if we actually throw our minds back, it was Ruinberg which they won the attacking side on. So DiNG are a dangerous team right now because not all teams in the league can actually... can win those attacking rounds. And not all teams in the league can hold off DiNG's attacking round strategy, which was sublime. So Cliff will be an interesting one. I probably wouldn't really rate DiNG on that one at all. I'd say that's probably where they would lose rounds, if any. But after that, Penta really have to dig their heels in. I mean, if they can win Cliff hard, get the defensive round on Ruinberg, force a 4th map, then they might be all right. But DiNG here, looking really good lately. Penta have a lot to prove. It always seems actually that this time, around this part of the season, Penta do sort of make a bit of a resurgence. We saw them actually run towards that 6th place and just clinch their way into the playoffs, or the pre-playoffs last season. So it's possible.
Yeah, definitely. Anything's possible with Penta. They're continually a surprise for me. And I think for Penta Sports, they have more on the line than just a place at the season finals. If they get into a top 4 position, because Team Supreme no longer exists as a team, having come second last season, they have a great chance of going to those grand finals as well.
Points
so they're basically in competition with Tornado Rocks right now. If Tornado comes first at the season finals, they will go instead of Penta. If Penta comes, let's say, second again, and they'll go to the finals. And if they come 3rd, 4th, then they're going to be tied, and then we have that whole matchup thing, which Tornado might win. So I'm not sure. It's going to be super interesting, though, and definitely something to look out for. But yeah, Cliff is our first map. Definitely Penta's map. I mean, they did some fantastic work on this one before. I believe about 60 or 70% win ratio on this one. So I think as you mentioned, for them, it's just about getting the 2 rounds on the board right now.
And DiNG have only won one Cliff out of 5. 1 round out of 5 on Cliff. So, pretty average here, Melly. Votes, they are open. Still got some food left. Good to see. Still with us. You've got a stray tomato there, by the way. You know that?
Yeah, I know. That's the one I wanted to throw all the...
She almost threw it at me. She just threw it at her screen instead.
Why'd you throw it at your screen? Throw it at him. What's wrong with that?
I'm a softer target. No.
Yeah,
you've already thrown a pencil at me on it, and it's not...
I did that last week as well. It's no big deal.
And chocolate at some
hit
point,
me straight. I think I dodged that one.
The chocolate one?
No, the pencil.
The pen kind? No, I can't
You're
remember.
not good at throwing stuff, so... I wouldn't be surprised if you missed me and hit Mitch straight in the face.
That would not be ideal.
That would be brilliant.
These cameras make my face look red enough as it is without tomato on it.
When you're not expecting it, Ollie. When you're not expecting it.
I'm looking forward
yes, people at home can get involved. Head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/WGLEU. And the first ones are sending their votes in already. And it's currently sitting on 71% for Penta Sports. And people, the vote isn't over, of course. As soon as 2 maps have been played, the vote will be closed, so get in your predictions as fast as possible, because the 3 fastest correct predictions, like the exact predictions of the scoreline, remember Penta is on the left side, DiNG is on the right side. It means you have to put the voting for Penta on the left side and for DiNG on the right side. Some people do still confuse it. Don't. Just vote for the team logo, just to see the trend of the community, of course. So if you think, well, I like DiNG's logo better, go for DiNG. And if you say Penta is probably going to win it, well, put the scoreline in Penta's favor. That's how it goes.
The best part about that was that when you put your left hand up, it's like Penta's on this side, DiNG was above it on the screen. And
Oh,
we realised
really?
that DiNG, it was at Penta. So really ironic because you're saying to put it on the right side, but I hope everyone gets your point either way.
On the Facebook page it is. So Penta is standing on the left side, DiNG is on the right side. I just get my information from eu.wgleague.net.
What was that website again? So we can all go there if we need the infos?
eu.wgleague.net.
That deprecated website.
.net.
Super hard to navigate website.
Which apparently is getting a bit of a facelift in the future as well.
Yes.
Yeah, should be doing.
I've heard about that.
Nice.
But you can get all standings and scores and percentages of win-loss ratios and whatever else on there. Also, the Hall of Fame is there. Pretty much a full profile of the achievements.
Elian
of,
is at top at the moment. Have a
of
look now.
every team. You could
Yeah, he's
actually
at top.
put it on
He's done
F11. Maybe we can have a look
428,000
together.
damage so far in all of his seasons.
That's
55.6% win ratio, 320 battles, 302 battles.
that's
The man's at the top.
So
Breakneck is second.
he's got-
And the dead zone. How is he
Really?
third?
No.
Yes. How is this possible?
Just kidding. No, not bad.
Great player.
The Dead Zone, yeah, it definitely
Yeah,
gets
he
it
was a
done.
good player.
320 battles
He was a
in the
top- he was a-
Wargaming.net league.
He
though,
was a
that's a
top
lot.
player last time for Penta last week.
He normally is. To be
Yeah.
fair. All right, guys. Well, that's how you can get involved. So, as per usual, thank you, Melly. You know, I gotta congratulate Melly as well because she has to pretty much say the same thing every time she comes to that segment, but she always throws in little different things as well. Whether it's like an
And
insult
throws-
at you or
almost throws tomatoes as
throwing
well.
some debris at you or some sort. So
Foodage.
to make that segment sound interesting, like you need a lot of personality. So fortunately, Melly's able to fill that one out nicely. So
Thank you.
nice.
Totally. Making a blush.
Yeah, that's Rouge.
All right. Anyways, let's jump in.
want some
Let's
Rouge.
hear from the captains of these two teams before the match got underway.
DiNG is a really strong team on tier 10. We lost our match in the last season against them and we want revenge for them. So let's hope we will not ding on them.
Команда Пента очень сильная команда, и она всех удивила. Я думаю, что будет сложный матч, но посмотрим.
Well, Hacky, bro, you can dig on me anytime, mate. If you know what I mean. If you get me a jersey like Oliver has.
I got two, mate. One with
Yeah,
the wrong
one-
spelling.
Have we told this story on air before?
Maybe. I don't know.
About your jersey? When Oliver first got his Penta Sports jersey, he was really happy about it, right? He's biased, obviously, towards Penta, but that's fine. That's why I need to be really mean to him to balance it out. But anyway, he got his jersey, and he's sitting in the hotel room. He's like, yeah, you guys mad, look at my jersey. Me and Lauren are there like, yeah, mildly Myron. Mildly Myron.
yeah.
He puts the shirt down,
Mildly, putting it
and
mildly.
then me and Lauren have just fallen off our seats because the name's been spelled, it's Laughgter. Like, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
spelled really badly.
Laugther. I think that's what it is. Last.
So Oliver was just like, yeah, I look so sick in my new Penta Sports jersey. And
It's
it was spelled completely
Tekilzel.
wrong.
When Tekilzel was playing for Penta, clearly couldn't spell my name right and screwed up. But then when I got it back, I got my full name, Oliver, speech marks, laughter, then Maxfield. And they managed to get it all right. So,
So you happy with that
I'm
one
happy
now?
with that one, yeah.
Okay, so I was wearing it the other day, actually, so there you
Yeah, I
go.
ran out of clothes. I'm joking.
A jersey, guys. Anyway, so jump into this one. Cliff, as I said, will be the first one. Penta's pick, rather unsurprisingly here as well, given that they generally do fairly well on it, and it's not a pick that a lot of teams go for. So it's a good time to have that one up your sleeve, but unfortunately the two maps to follow that one are picks from DiNG, and we've seen how strong they are on the maps of their choice, generally speaking. So we do seem to have people preparing to jump into game.
Yeah,
We
Penta
had-
screwed up their lineup a little bit, so we have to wait until that issue is resolved. Gonna chime in here real quick.
So Oliver's typing in lobby now, just trolling people. So obviously lineups being passed to admins as well before the game happens. So we have that blind pick sort of feel. You can't change in between. So having lineups being changed here as well. Oliver just getting in there and making sure the ruling is all correct. So we're waiting to see this one happen. It does look like we have the artillery being brought in here. Diplomat, good show. But we don't know if these are accurate lineups here as well. So Oliver's now going to have an argue with an admin in chat there and just have it all sorted out here on the spot. That's fine. Remember, guys, we're back tomorrow night and we're back Thursday night. You'll be stuck with me for both of those nights, unfortunately, but we do need to finish off the rest of the Super Week. So still, after this game, 6 more games to come, and by that point, we'll actually only have 2 more match days left. So we're going to be seeing that ladder looking pretty well locked in there, notwithstanding a couple more results to come through here. So definitely a great way to check the temperature, I guess, of some of our top teams before we head forward in towards our playoffs and our finals. That's where you want to be having your eyes set, guys, of course, and these teams as well, because winning the EU finals is what's going to help you get to the grand finals. Like we were talking about before, Penta have a shot. They have a legitimate shot. As average as they look this season, they're in with a chance. We saw Kazna Crew featured at the World Finals last time. They kind of snuck through in a wild card entrance, I believe it was.
Yeah, I mean, they got wild card last time. It was School Bus and Virtus Pro who qualified for Europe. Obviously, the groups and the teams which are going to go haven't been decided yet. Of course, the Russians don't have their finals. Of course, until after their seasons, we haven't got our finals yet. We still have to do the pre-playoffs on the 13th. So we got a lot to do basically, and which teams, how many teams from each region, which will qualify for the grand finals hasn't been locked in. Hasn't been announced to the public yet. So that's all stuff which is going to be announced. Of course, we're getting towards the grand finals, of course. So that was announced on worldoftanks.eu. Just click on the tournaments tab. You can actually check that one out. You can see the date there on the 8th to 9th of April. So something worth checking out if you're in the area. If you're in Europe somewhere, or if you're in North America, you want to check some World of Tanks action out in the flesh for 2 days in a row. It's going to be fantastic. I mean, the event is great. We always get a lot of people there. We had too many people last time. It's just a spectacle. It's a spectacle to admire. And we have the MGT truck. You have all sorts of cool things as per usual.
So hang out. Don't forget to get all your details for that one, and do join us in. Let's jump into the map now. As teams are ready. Shockish is upset. I called him a nerd. I'm sorry, bro. Really mean it. I kind of did. That's all right. M53, M55. So a big artillery coming in here for Rage of Potatoes. Skoda T50 as well to round things out. And
map.
Diplomat bringing his artillery as well. Yes, I mean, it looks similar to Cliff, but we're not playing mines, guys. We're on the map of Cliff. And artillery actually really being invested into here, which, to be fair, is not something we normally see on this map.
Yeah, I mean, both teams having artillery pieces, and it looked like the dead zone was actually pinging an A5 furiously at the beginning, so maybe expecting a tank to go there or an artillery piece to go there. But, a really big investment from PENTA, you're right. I mean, the M53, M55, super good artillery piece, love it, pretty accurate, decent rate of fire, and it can also traverse very far across the map without having to re-aim its gun. And it looks like Penta's gone towards the left side, and this is classic Penta. They always like to switch things up and try new tactics.
And artillery being used well could really break the map here. Holknick just got a huge amount of damage taken off of him, and I think it was Raging Potato that actually hit him. Beautiful stuff from that artillery. That's how to open things up here as well. Penta making a statement here as well. More than happy to have brought the big M53, M55, and already making some shots. Yeah,
New Motor Show is just on the prowl now, heading down towards that northern side in that Batchat. And I mean, the TVP is actually not that worse than the Skoda, sorry, is not worse than the normal TVP 50. It's just got 3 shells instead of 4, and basically everything else is the same about it. So it's really good. I mean, in fact, I prefer the Tier 9 in a lot of respects, and I think a lot of people did as well when they first started playing it. But Holknick gets spotted again by New Multi-Show.
New Multi-Show, though, being tracked up there as well. For the second time, he's now going to sit there and face the music. Very, very bad news for New Multi-Show. Somehow bounces that shot coming in. A little bit of angling on the armor of the Batchet there as well. Does go a long way. But he's sustained a heck of a lot of damage to even get into this position now. And this is where things get a little bit dicey for the man. I don't think he can get up the hill on his own. He's just going to try and set up here as well. He's still a threat. He can still be a nuisance from that position now. Little bit of lag, I think we have. It's coming down now. Cool. As Diplomat there sets up.
That's some server lag. I hear a lot of engines being revved, but no movement being made.
Yeah, no, on my monitor it's fine. Oh, there's Malin there taking a big hit from Diplomat. I mean, these artillery, really interesting use of them. Actually, teams prioritize them, almost building their lineups around them. You can see Raging Potato doesn't want to fire towards Holknick until he can actually see him. Doesn't want to waste those shots. It's a huge artillery. We can get definitely one that can give you those one-shots. Holknick, though, has a hard head, the T62A, but still would be struggling if he does suffer a direct hit to a critical part of that tank. Dead Zone takes a hit there as well. Shockish is well getting traded back towards the Dead Zone. Losing more health. I mean, it's the classic TVP duel there. Both the tanks ending up with about the same amount of health there. It's more the fact that Shockish is pretty much in enemy territory, so let's be careful. New multi-show gets Shockish though as well. Remember, he was set up in that position the whole time. So yeah, I think Hulknik now knows he needs to try and clean him up, and New Multi is out of shots here. So Hulknik will be off reload first. He'll finish off New Multi-show, and DiNG actually have themselves a bit of a lead here.
Yeah, Hulknik needs to get taken down by Raging Potato shoots, but only finds one shell. And Vale is in the worst situation considering that T628 is actually hulled down. And he's actually going to go for the exchange, and once he does get in there, he should be okay, but he's one shot.
Vale screwed. One more shot and he's done. Boom! Hulknik gets the finish there as well, and Penta's starting to find things going south for the winter. And not in terms of the map, really, just in terms of their prospects. Derzenishta. Good bloke that he is. Unfortunately, being a good bloke is not going to be enough to win you this round. There's even Mayland as well being caught out. There'll be flipping burgers again in no time at this rate. Backing up down that hill. Skoda gets tracked up as he goes straight towards the valley side, and DiNG have plenty of health here. Penta 3,000 odd health, and now they're losing more and more by the second. Perhaps, Oliver, that big tier 9 artillery investment was not justified.
I don't think it was that. I mean, I think Penta Sports just had a really complicated tactical as they normally do, but they just didn't put it together well. I can see, I mean, Penta's done well, like trying to take out that TVP on the D5 position and then moving on to get control of that northern part of the map and then just moving through, etc., etc. But they gave a lot away to try and take down Hulknik. New Multi-Show getting tracked there was, you know, pretty lucky for DiNG, but a huge blow to Penta because he was down to a one-shot. He couldn't really do that much. He was supposed to be aggressive in that position, and he couldn't be, and that was disastrous for Penta. So it's going to be the first round on the board for DiNG.
Not Penta.
Not Penta.
Yeah, I mean, Durs was on a one-way trigger to Rex City there at the end. He had like one bit of health left, and the rest of his team was gone. I mean, you know, interesting stuff there from New Multi-Show to make his way up. I haven't seen in the games that I've casted here, at least, Cliff played out in such a strange manner.
Really weird.
So much priority put towards the 1-2 line, people moving up there, and no direct push from both teams. We didn't ever see like a full-on, because sometimes if teams go that way, they just fight each other, right, head to head. This time, bringing Artie, wheeling him into sort of awkward positions and trying to get some shots, and Hulknik did get slapped up pretty badly by a Raging Potato early on in the round, but from there, seemed like that was really the end of where Penta's big shots were coming from. My man Derzenishta, 1,900 damage for him, so we'll get the scores up in just a moment, but the bat chats, the double bat chats here for DiNG really doing work. I mean, Meritorious, I saw him in the interview beforehand as well. Confident player, been a friend of ours for a long, long time, been part of the league for even longer than that.
Crazy dude.
Yeah, I like him though.
In WCA, I mean, the great story about Mary is just at the front row, Kazna very far ahead in this game, and he just goes YOLO, jumps off the side of a cliff on IS-7 saying, "Come at me," or something like ridiculous in Russian, just screaming off his chair, throwing the chair aside and throwing the game at the same time. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I mean, Hyber will be able to tell the story a lot better because it involves a lot of profanities and a lot of things which I'm not allowed to stay on.
Was he playing against Kazna or for them?
No, he was playing for them.
Oh, God. So he's a bit of a loose cannon, old mate, Mary.
Yeah. It was one of the, we got to have, when you see Hyber next, you got to have him tell the story because it's brilliant. But yeah, I think interesting, you know, International getting boosted up in that position onto that middle island really worked out well for DiNG. I mean, putting so much pressure on them with also that artillery piece in play, and both teams having artillery was, of course, you know, super strange and Cliff. We barely get to see one team with artillery, so having two is just unheard of. And it looks like this time around when we get the lineups on your old screenios, will both teams not having any artillery pieces.
Yeah, no, it's sometimes, remember, they throw caution to the wind for that first round, like Oliver does whenever he approaches a member of the fairer sex. And then if that doesn't work out, they just go back to the normal thing. So they just sit in the corner and do this with nursing and coach. That's what experience has told me anyway. Radler. Anyway, so we're going to jump into just a moment, guys. Here we go. We can see the tanks there as well. Triple bat chat here for DiNG. Double TVP. Can anyone say autoloaders?
Yeah, so many autoloaders. 5 autoloaders from the side of DiNG, and quite a few from Penta. Now, this autoloading setup we've seen before. We've seen 6, and it hasn't worked out well. I think Wombat's tried it once, or one of the teams have tried it, and it's just a bit of a messy lineup. International gets spotted by Raging Potato, and that's kind of given Penta a lot of information. I don't think Raging International really expect to be spotted there. So Penta Sports could get control over this middle part of the map with that information, knowing
Mary,
that the tier 10's below.
Don't do it, Mary. Don't drive off the cliff, bro. Come on. Shot comes in from the hill towards him. So, I mean, honestly, he's been threatened pretty badly here. And he's done it! He's done it, Mary! Classic Mary off
Why
the cliff.
would you go in a hold-down position of bat jet like that? I mean, you have a 140 or a T62A there because it can bounce stuff from its turret.
The thing about these autoloaders here for DiNG is that can turn a game around very, very quickly if they can get the shots onto the right targets. PENTA have 3, though, as well. Bear in mind, they have plenty of autoloaders of their own, and there's an issue, actually. Able to stand up to Hulknik here as well, putting a shot back in his direction. This is going to make Hulk get that reload on here. Make sure he has 4 shots in the chamber when push really does come to shove. Like you saw earlier, PENTA have this hill. They have a lot of control. And this is fine until DiNG start working their way around that 3-4 line. That's why I like Oliver. I like Raging Potato's positioning back at B2 and 3. You can see around it. And here's PENTA, more importantly, going for the push. Now, if you can count, that's a lot of shots they have available to him. 13 shots. Rakar might be in a bit of danger as he's pushed on 2, but there's 2 bat chats being held back in reserve for DiNG. So the first shots, if they can get them, could be very deadly.
Yeah, but look at all these guys from PENTA who have been spotted. They were actually on the flank, which is super risky. I mean, that flank barely works out, and considering they have all the advantages over DiNG, it's kind of surprising. I guess they saw the fact that the TVPs and the bat chats were back, but if they push around that corner, they got to deal with an E50M. Okay, that might be able to be cancelled out by the STVs in the middle, but at least got to deal with 2 bat chats. That's 4k damage potential from them. So, I mean, it's probably a good idea that the RU-251 staved PENTA back from that push, and they actually just go back in their defensive positions they were in the first place. Now, the next logical move from DiNG is to get control of that 1 line, try and take care of Raging Potato. They know he's there because he spotted International. Then they can actually go behind Derzonix to take him out with the TVP. They've got control of the Lighthouse Island, so they can keep PENTA behind these buildings, behind these rocks, as Malin just gets wrecked.
Yep, autoloaders, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Meritorious there makes up for his past transgressions and does get the finish there. In good position by Rulzik there as well. That's a very nice little hit towards Derzonista. It's going to take him low as heck. And now these TVPs, they're going to make a push towards Diplomat. He rolls back off the hill. Hulknik had better do the same. They can't fight this column on their own. They may have to fight into a sort of 2v4 at this stage. And there's the 251 as well, able to do some damage. Now on the retreat is Diplomat. Hulknik's going to go the other way as well, and Fancy trying to take down Raging Potato. Not a bad idea, but Hulknik wasn't able to hit all the shots. This is going to mean he's in trouble. But PENTA have lost so much already now as Hulknik goes towards Raging Potato. He knows there's going to be people coming up from behind. He knows he has to face some music here. But again, PENTA already lacking numbers in a big way. They've invested a lot for this one. The dead zone actually, and Hulknik will be off reload at the same time. Hulknik can finish Raging Potato. He can. He get the finish now, especially after him taking that hit there. But Hulknik just doing as much damage as he can. That little miss, not ideal. But Shokish was able to take down Fighting Line in the background, and there's still 5 tanks up for DiNG. This is a horrible start for PENTA.
A terrible start. I mean, they are 2,000 hit points behind. DiNG had double the hit points of PENTA, and they got the better positions as well. Let's be honest here, they got the higher ground. PENTA went all in, and that's just allowed DiNG to flex around the map and get these flanking positions.
International somehow survives the 2-man firing squad and gets a kill himself. Beautiful play by the Batchat. And look at this angle. Vale, what up, bro? Spider-Man coming at you. This guy already got a little bit of health
Batman,
there.
come on,
I mean,
the
Vale
Batmobile.
was able to pick him up. Yeah, well, to be honest, Spider-Man can sort of come down off the balconies or whatever.
Yeah, but it's
Batman has been cooler. Yeah, Batchat. Damn, I effed that up so hard. Now I really thought about that now. You've tilted me, but, well, it doesn't look like DiNG can be tilted out of that winning position. 2-0 on Cliff. That's PENTA's map. PENTA are mad, and now DiNG get to go on towards their maps. 2 in a row of their choosing here. So this is super bad situations, especially when DiNG have shown them just to be almost flawless on their maps of choice so far. They've practiced well. They're well drilled. PENTA, I don't know, man. I mean, DiNG are 3rd for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Their first season, I said this last week as well. Everyone hyped them up, said, look out for DiNG. They're the real deal. We were like, yeah, okay. And then we really didn't see anything from them. We're like, okay, not really convinced.
They weren't good on tier 8 tanks. You saw Hacky there was like, yeah, I mean, DiNG are good at tier 10s, and you can see they are good at tier 10s. I mean, since the beginning, they've been consistently good. And I think they will be going to the season finals, honestly. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they play.
Cool.
And, yeah, I mean, PENTA there, they were doing so well until Malian decided to drive into the middle, get spotted by the double Batchat sitting behind, which, to be fair, is an unusual move, I guess, having 2 Batchats there, getting tracked and getting absolutely destroyed very quickly. If he didn't die, PENTA had everything else going for them, and then they were forced to make a suicide move down towards that western side, and obviously they're going to end up losing that. Very likely they end up losing that.
The higher concentration of autoloaders you have, the more chaotic your match is generally going to go. Now, you look at this as well. I mean, 5 out of 7 of those top tanks are autoloaders there. you're seeing their TVPs featuring fairly heavily, and the two top tanks are those Bat Chats. So, in fact, you can see that International Shockies have done almost exactly the same amount of damage. Almost identical there. So
Really impressive the two Bat Chats managed to really step up. I'm always skeptical about double Bat Chats, but with those TVPs, but that's really good. I mean, really good stuff.
And even Meritorious able to survive as well after the diabolical start that he had. He came out with 2 kills. So, yeah, over a K damage for him. Not too shabby at all. And you can see, Derzenish to Mayland. Look, man, when you've got between a Bat Chat and 2 140s, you've got less than 2k damage. It's a problem. It's a big problem. And those guys firing 4 shots, a Bat Chat firing 4 shots is a problem in itself, by the way. It's not even a full clip before you go down. We saw New Multi-Show did get caught out fairly quickly there as well. So, there you have it. Ghost Town being the next one around the corner here, which is just, I really think DiNG's name is written all over it. I don't know what you think about PENTA on this map. Do we have stats for them on Ghost Town?
No, not good on this map. 25% win ratio. I mean, we've seen so many good rounds from DiNG, right, on this one. I think they got wrecked by Utopia so much in Season 1, they actually learned how to play it properly. And they are really good on this map. 75% win ratio, solid, can't argue with it. And, we've seen now PENTA's map, and now we're going to see DiNG's map. And if anything, today and yesterday is to go by, the team with the highest statistics on a map often ends up winning it. And I think what I'm going to do going forward in the season is just add up all the statistics from each map for the teams that have picked that map, and then just work out what the overall percentage win chance is for the team just based on their wins on the map. And I guarantee that about at least 51% of the time I'll be right.
All right, at least 51%
That's
of the time.
Collins. That's the stick right.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll be right more than I think like maybe I'll get it right like 66% of the time.
Okay, that's a bit more
because we
bold.
got quite a few rounds played on these maps, so we got like a good pool. Not too many anonymous results.
With a big pool, and I guess those maps meaning less on their own, teams are trying to make sure they've locked down like 2 maps. 2 maps that they're really good at. And they're able to do it from what we've seen. Statistically, you're correct. I was hoping maybe we'd see a bit more of a mix up there. The teams broadening their pools, and they're going to have to if we're going to go towards the grand finals. You talk about Russian-speaking teams not liking to play too much of Prokhorovka, for example. We see a lot of your Pentas and Kastners not liking Ghost Town. So these are things that are going to be put under scrutiny, ladies and gentlemen, as we do look at those finals, because each region has their favoured map pools. We saw the Chinese region play very, very well on Cliff and Prokhorovka, actually. Those two were really good for them. Kastner crew got completely wrecked every single goddamn time they went and tried to fight EL Gaming on Cliff. It was 4 rounds as well, and they just fought in the middle every time, and Kastner just got demolished. So, every region has their map.
That's a map pick issue as well. I mean, like, as we're talking about maps, I mean, Kastner should have banned out Cliff, and then when Hellraisers played EL Gaming in the finals, they banned out Cliff immediately. Like, regardless of the fact that I guess Hellraisers thought they were better players, and so did Kastner. Like, they just banned it out straight away. Like, these bans are super important for the teams. They're more important than the maps they end up playing.
100%.
I think.
Let's jump into the game now, of course, as these teams are ready to go. Tank picks, and it's good to see a 110E3 here for PENTA. Artillery here for DiNG, and Diplomat has been damn good at it. Especially on this map so far. So really just going with the FE215B core and supplementing it with a bit of tank destroyer action. I like that a lot. IS-4 as well for PENTA. We'll see how they intend to use that one. By and large, though, nothing to really make us scratch our heads or wonder. I'm going to jump into this one in just a moment here. And I mean, DiNG have been super strong on this one. It should be pretty dangerous for PENTA, to be honest. It's on the attacking side in red will be DiNG, PENTA defending in the blue. Let's see how this one pans out.
Yeah, so I mean, DiNG, typically a good team on this map, just aggressive. They really like to go in for these caps. They have got International to play that role. As you mentioned, 2 tank destroyers as well. I mean, PENTA Sports, though, with the artillery piece, DiNG wants to be going aggressive. We already saw that tank being slightly negated with the aggression, and in general, they want to be avoiding the kind of alleyways, the bottlenecks on this one, corridors as people like to call it. And New Multi-Show actually on that northern side, A4, he's going to be able to spot Diplomat very early on in the stage, in the piece for this map. So let's see if that can actually have an effect. As right now, both teams just setting up kind of Mexican standoff style.
I'm pretty happy with DiNG pushing towards the north here. We saw that early on the night with Tornado Rocks against Knackerbroad, actually, and I think it worked in KB's favour. I think Ghost Town was really the only map that they actually got anywhere. So we'll see now. New Multi-Show is spotted, of course, but he does at least see International. He didn't see Diplomat. That's important. So Diplomat can just sneak his way up on towards that corner. I think New Multi should spot him eventually. Now he'll spot him now, especially since he's been hit. So the north is under control of DiNG right now. Penta have to work the way out from here. I want to see how DiNG have set up their TDs as well, as it was actually them with all those TDs. That's a good shot. Raging Potato has hit Diplomat in that 110 E5. The hull of the E5 is pretty easy to punch through as well, so you don't even have to hit it bang on.
No, it's a not particularly durable tank. Well, it is kind of durable, but you can penetrate it pretty easy from the front.
It has those same weaknesses that, I mean, the 32, the T29 all had straight down the line. It's just a great hull down. Not great if you got the hull out in the open.
Yeah, so right now we got DiNG capping. Now, Penn Sports will need some sort of spotter to try and get control over that cap a little bit. Otherwise, it's just going to be about the artillery piece blind shooting, which doesn't really work out often. And first shell does come in, no connection. Actually, there's 2 tanks in the cap, which is a little bit of a surprise and definitely caught Penta by surprise. You can see Mrakar on the rotate, just going to cross off the multi-show as much as he can, and he must expect that. Let's see what kind of shells go towards the multi.
Well, obviously multi has the 1v1 by far against Mrakar here. It's a 3-shot with good rolls is enough to finish him off there. So shame to see Mrakar being cancelled out so easily here, but here's Mayland as well. He might find himself in a similar situation in a few moments. Hulknik plays from this position always, and he always plays the E100, and he always really leaves a mark here. He's taken a couple of hits, but he's left Mayland absolutely crippled. Shocky should have to finish here as well. Mayland will want to side scrape slightly on this corner. From the front, pretty weak. But a lot of damage going over in the direction of Penta. And that cap's still going as well. Fighty Lion has to give himself up here because that M40, M43 of Raging Potato hasn't been able to really make the connection. I think he just did on towards International. He got the reset shot. Very important. No, maybe it was even Vale moving up to get involved.
No, I think it was the artillery piece. I mean, Vale hasn't shot anything. He's still got 6 shells there. So, yeah, he's going to have to push in. And when he does push in, as long as there's not too much support there in the background from DiNG, he's going to be able to absolutely obliterate, but he's playing pretty passively, letting Vitality Line go first in that FE215B.
I'm happy with Raging Potato on this map. He's filled Killer Pit's spot on this team quite nicely, I think. And he's been getting those resets. That's important. International on the I7 is super low here. Maybe an opening for Penta now, as they still have all their tanks, and it's DiNG lacking 3 at this stage. Vale would have loved to do so much more with those shots, but he still gets 2 in towards the back of Diplomat now. If he's lucky, 1 and 2, that's really going to hurt now. And we see Meritorious going down as Raging Potato picks him up. Great artillery work, and DiNG going to fall to pieces here.
Yeah, he's playing the artillery really perfectly, hitting the shells he needs to hit. The rest of his team is playing around him, which is exactly what you want to do. And then also the fact that Penta's been winning this hull down exchange perfectly, being in the higher ground, and the fact that DiNG wasn't being aggressive, wasn't going forwards against Penta. And of course, Mrakar going down in the RU-251 to fantastic shooting from New Multi-Show was definitely not a good thing. I feel if he was still alive, Mrakar able to scurry around, keep Multi at bay, could have been a different game. But yeah, first of all, Raging just hitting his shells. Second of all, good individual play by Penta Sports, kind of spreading the damage nicely throughout the team. You can see everyone's on low HP, but no one really dead. Getting the resets when they needed to, and I feel, yeah, okay, the cap is an option, and I think DiNG tried to speed it up, put more pressure on Penta by putting 2 in the cap to negate that artillery piece, but it also took 2 tanks away from the lower side, lower ramp engagement, which they needed, and why Penta ended up winning the game. So I think when he has an artillery piece in the game, when you're talking about such a small map, probably should just go for the brawl instead.
Yeah, I mean, going towards the north is so risky, and I'll be honest, Raging Potato punished DiNG really hard on this map. He did a ton of damage, dude, with only 4 shots fired, but that's all he really had to do. Then Vale could get involved with the Waffentrager Alpha 100 after that reset came in. I don't know, like, DiNG's setup seemed very, very reminiscent of what we saw from them last week when it worked out beautifully. 3.2k damage from Raging Potato, really nice from him.
Yeah, he hit every single shell. 789 damage, about the average you would expect.
Splash 2, direct hits 2.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. I mean, it depends how close he got to the splashes. If you splash next to a tank or even under a tank, you basically do the same damage as you would hitting them, or even more, actually. But yeah, I mean, M40, M43, if you can make it work on this map, is perfect, especially when you just use it to the resets. I mean, the damage is not even the most important thing there. As you can see, the Dead Zone, Vital Line, and Vale did plenty of it with 2,500, 2,300, 2,000 respectively. I think Vale chimed in well at the end. You could see one of the players, I think, who was it? Diplomat playing the Waffentrager for DiNG, just coming off reload. Vale managed to hit the shell nicely, took him out, reducing the potential damage DiNG could do. But now, we've got DiNG coming off the attacking side onto the defensive side, switching things up completely. It's not a particularly biased map. Now for DiNG, they haven't gone for an artillery piece you get to see in a second. They've gone for the T-54 and the Conqueror. So that immediately tells us they want to go for the exchanges, and they want to hold the angles, go for the exchanges, have the T-54s pestering from behind, maybe expecting PENTA Sports to go forwards, to be aggressive, to try and get those key positions on the map.
We're a few seconds away from jumping into this one, so we'll see if those key positions are actually positions. I sound like a Kiwi. Key positions going to be able to be taken up here by PENTA. They're going to bring RT again on this one. That's something to note as well. And Rage Potato actually confident enough to actually be going for the M53 55. So he's got to be feeling good about himself now. Excuse me. DiNG on the defensive side, going to be bringing the E3 and the E100 respectively. So they're definitely going for plenty of beef here. Now, if I was going to favour DiNG on either of these sides, it would be the defensive one. PENTA need to make Rage Potato do work, or at least he himself needs to make an impact. Otherwise, things might get a little bit dicey here. It's a very, very big wall to push through if you're PENTA.
I think the interesting thing about Ghost Town is at the beginning of the season we saw the attack working very well for the teams, and that's why it's biased about 60% towards the attack. But now we're moving towards the later stages of the season. The meta is still developing very quickly. It's slightly harder to attack, and that just says a lot about the format and how people are changing the way they play, and with the artillery being included, etc., etc. It all makes a big difference. But yeah, this is going to be about how well Raging Potato can play. And it's quite interesting that he has gone for that tier 9 artillery piece when you would have thought that the defensive side is more artillery piece orientated. But let's see if he can actually make it work. And, rule-sake and that T-54 lightweight's of course going to be his biggest problem, and it's why PENTA have committed multi-show just in that back chat to keep him safe and secure.
So, that also means that 2 tanks are essentially out of the fight if Rage Potato cannot connect. Not only he, but of course the bat chat sent to protect him. New multi can't actually do anything. So, Rulesik's making the correct decision, not going for anything here, and you can see Shockish now just trying to make things easier for himself by destroying some of that terrain. And the Dead Zone has seen him there as well. He fancies to go for a shot, but the IS-4 is the side scrape king. There's not much really can be done towards Shockish to get him out of this position right now. Bit of a relocation here, though, by the looks of things, by Rage Potato. He may even move towards the north and try and fire towards Shockish and make his life a little bit harder, but got to be another 20-odd seconds before he's even ready to think about firing.
For DiNG, it's a matter of just staying in cover. I mean, they don't have to do anything. They're on the defensive side. So it's definitely for PENTA Sports to find an angle for Raging Potato to hit. Like, for instance, we saw Desha getting hit when we saw Utopia and Oops play. So it's all going to be about the angles. If the angle is found for PENTA Sports, and obviously they've trained this tactic before, DiNG are going to be in big trouble because they are going to be forced to react. They have to do something. They can't sit in these positions any longer. And that's really where PENTA Sports have to stay on the ball, keep the aggression up, make sure they keep on doing damage with the artillery piece, move in their heavy tanks, keep their Waffentrager in there as well on the front lines, and all those kind of good things.
Rage Potato hasn't found his shot quite yet. You can see he's lining it up even to such a degree that Shockish has moved away from that corner, knowing that he's a little bit dangerous. So he's playing well around that artillery, giving plenty of respect to Rage Potato, which is also going to be frustrating if you're that artillery piece, because you really haven't done anything yet. PENTA have milked down about 3 minutes of the time here, not actually having done any damage. So, and every second that goes past is a bonus for DiNG. It's just extra pressure that PENTA's going to be feeling because they have to come forward. You see Nualti showed, look at this guy, a stalwart, looking straight towards the south, waiting for Rulesik to try and go for him. And to be fair, he'll get his chance in a second. And it's a fight that, well, the Modesho should always win if he's going to be connecting the shots against the 54. But Rulesik actually himself, sitting right back, doesn't really care. Is more than happy to just allow time to tick down. He doesn't really want to try and chase down this artillery. I mean, if you're avoiding artillery shots, you don't need to kill it.
Exactly. I mean, there's no reason for DiNG to move right now. And yeah, Rulesik will be good for the later stages of the game when PENTA Sports are inevitably forced to push in because they can't find an angle. They've tried this northern side now. They are moving towards the southern side, see if they can find anything there. But seeing that the artillery piece is not moving with them, obviously want to keep it in that direction. And to be fair, that can work out for you. DiNG will have to maybe flex a little bit to keep PENTA at bay. The artillery piece might be able to take advantage of that flex. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? DiNG have done this before. They draw a team up through that capture point number 2, and they'll reset the team on the cap, 100%. Penta cannot cap on number 2. There's too many tanks close by. So what happens when DiNG reset is Penta push DiNG. DiNG have a crossfire set up meticulously here to deal with Penta. So not good. And especially if Penta want to try and fight around this northern cap. I mean, Raging Potato is about as useless as a... Well, about a potato. Yeah, you really can't do much. There's too many buildings in the way for him to fire. So Penta, again, going to be looking for more options here. I already think the north would have been something they were better off committing to. Again, Raging Potato is going to just be popping off here. Doesn't quite catch on towards Meritorious, but at least forces him to move a bit. But still, it's just not enough to really raise any concern for DiNG. This round will go long. It will be a slow one because Penta just aren't getting anything for free, and this is what you need to do as a defensive team. Don't give up anything for free. Don't go for cocky peaks. Let the enemy come and trust in your setup.
Yeah, I mean, Penta Sports definitely putting a lot of faith in that artillery piece. And yeah, I mean, that is one of the legit tactics in 768 with artillery. You just want to be using it as a way of melting down the other team. But let's see what the Penta Sports have in mind now. They kind of put Vitaline in the middle. He got spotted, so DiNG flexed slightly and expecting Penta Sports to come from the middle. But they are actually heading up north, and the artillery is still in that position, so maybe Penta was intending to do that the whole time, and it looks like the commitment is going to have to come out from that team, and it seems to me like DiNG are in the better position considering they have taken no damage so far.
Shockish wasn't actually set up to side scrape the corner there, so he had to pull back around. He did have a shot, but he missed it because he was actually having to flick himself away from that situation quickly. So Shockish holds for as long as he can here. These FBs try and surround. It's just going to be an all-out brawl here, and this negates Raging Potato. We can't do anything right now because where DiNG are going to be set up, he can't fire towards. There's too many buildings in the way, and look at the damage already coming across the line. It's the dead zone, the first target, the man out in front as well, as you would expect. We might even be able to see DiNG put together some sort of flank around the side if they want to bring Rulzik and Rakar into bear. And his Waffentrager Alfie 100 of Veil is just not... Okay,
Raging
Penta...
Potato just shot. Lands a little bit of damage onto Mary, but not very much.
Getting slightly frustrated because this push from Penta doesn't play into their strengths at all, Ollie. They can't use Veil. They can't use Raging Potato. They're taking a lot of free damage. They're going to push something on towards the cap in the north, and they're just going to try and push... They're going to push DiNG right back and try and hold. Yeah,
they got the T-54 lightweight, T-54 just heading down south now. And the thing is, I mean, Raging Potato is a very good tank for basically stopping DiNG from pushing forwards once they inevitably have to try and get this cap... decapped. So if he comes out and he gets killed by that T-54, it's going to be very bad news for Penta Sports, and I think that's the next play from DiNG. Kill that artillery piece, and multi-show, it doesn't seem to be in particularly good vicinity of him.
No, and I think Rulzik actually hasn't spotted Raging Potato yet as well. He came close at one point to maybe seeing him, and now I think he'll go north and he'll see it. Diplomat takes a bit of damage. Probably nothing to write home about now as he's got his opposite number to deal with there, and Veil takes a big slapping there as well. He's low, has to back away, and now Rulzik will spot Raging Potato in just a moment as well. That's an important passage of play. Fighty line is low, Mayland is half health, and DiNG just coming up trumps in almost every way now. Veil goes down, so that's a Waffentrager down. Raging Potato is going to be threatened in just a moment. I think he has been spotted. Mayland low. There's an Ishtar. Him and look at Nimodisho. They're both turning their heads because they know their artillery is at threat, but they're also under threat as well. There's no time anymore to worry about Raging Potato. You need to try and defend the rest of your teammates. You can see that Rulzik doesn't actually care about Raging Potato, so him being here has baited Penta into turning their heads towards him. It's going to be their downfall.
Yeah, the dead zone had to go into that position, otherwise he would have died. And that T-54 just having free damage from the back is a perfect situation for them. And you can see Raging Potato is doing good damage, but it's just not enough.
The whole time, Rulzik would be like, oh, there you are, bro. Okay, fair enough. All that time, not knowing where, and Raging Potato just has to try and move. There's no chance of him really fighting back against Rulzik here. Rulzik gets the finish. He'd probably be a little bit embarrassed, actually, knowing that he was so close to that key artillery piece the whole round. And I think we saw the Armageddon doing this earlier on, Ollie. Just sneaking into that little building area and just waiting. Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Really is the dead zone.
He was in his position the whole time, though. But he could solo everyone from DiNG if they come in one by one. You got Merkar, Diplomat, Haltnik, all one-shots. Rulzik is not really a problem. He's in the T-54.
He's got 1 minute to attack, mate.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, of course.
Come on, Kevin.
Of course it's going to be their win. I'm just theorizing.
I'm just theorizing.
So silly.
Sorry, man. Anyway, Rulzik goes in. He's got the most health. That makes the most sense. Does take a hit from the dead zone. Now he has time to line up the shot. Rulzik just wants all the glory, I think.
Soloed. Oh, dead zone.
Oh. I don't know how he missed that, but he's done it anyway. Oh, the last hope from the Netherlands finally falls, and there is PENTA now going down, well, 3-1, which is actually better than where we thought they'd be at this point. 3 wins to DiNG, 1 to PENTA here, and they managed to hold on. Getting that 1 round here on Ghost Town is important, but problem is DiNG get 2 maps in a row to work with here, so such a sloppy performance on Cliff really does put pressure on PENTA all the way through this series now.
Yeah, they really need to step up. I mean, I think they actually had that game, but Raging Potato didn't have enough of an impact. Like, if you pick artillery piece, you need to have done some damage before the main engagement happens. Otherwise, it's useless. You know, you do 720 damage, but hey, an E100 can do 750 damage per shot, and it has 2,700 hit points and a load of armor, and it's actually in the battle. So, yeah, not much to say about that. I thought PENTA's original setup behind this house is actually pretty good. They decided to move back from that, and I think that's where things started to go wrong. I guess it's when rules like in that T-54 came from behind, and you can see he's on that first page as a tier 9 with 2,000 damage. And yeah, Raging Potato, the M53, M55, 2,000, but he didn't have a significant impact on the game.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, the dead zone... Not really, I mean, highlighting, but how was he really highlighting? I guess he did a little bit of damage towards the end. Diplomat as well, you know, he's a Waffentrager E100 player who's not afraid to take a bit of damage. You saw him coming forward there as well, taking about 600, but he wanted to kill Vale, and he did. Managed to take down his opposite number. We're seeing these now become a really common fixture, having this Take Destroyer in every lineup. A great adaptation that we're seeing in this scene. Really enjoying it now. And PENTA now, we move on to Ruinberg as well. Now, this is... Yeah, we could have a similar like 5-2 situation as we had before here if we had that 1 round being won on defense by PENTA. But Ruinberg is scary if you're going up against DiNG here, if they can execute in the same way. The question is, was their win on the attacking side last time a matter of luck or a mistake the enemy team made, or was it just purely intrinsic to their strategy?
No, I think PENTA's good on the attacking side. I mean, they surprised with really good aggression, and yeah, I mean, they did manage to put a round together really well, and that's a rare thing from PENTA Sports.
Faking the AMX CDC onto the North Cap was brilliant.
Exactly. So that kind of thing is what we like to see from PENTA, and it's why they can beat some of these top teams when they really put their mind to it. But right now, I mean, it's not going well for them. They're 3-1 down. Of course, you know, it's not game over yet. PENTA still have Ruinberg to come back from, but if it goes 4-1, then it's a really long slog to actually come back and you know, bring it all even, let alone win the actual match.
Well, we'll have to wait and see exactly how that one plays out now, as this map is one known to both teams. But one thing that isn't known to us is where the vote is right now, Melly, of course. PENTA having a lot of strong fans, but a lot of fans getting burnt week after week when PENTA's sort of failed to sort of meet the mark. So where are we sitting right now?
That's true, that's true. Currently we're sitting on 58% in favor of PENTA, and actually quite a lot of people voting a 5-3 ending in favor of PENTA. So... That's well, the number is surprisingly high. I haven't had a number that high for a long time regarding a certain scoreline in a match. So I don't know what maybe it's like the clinch on the last
4 in a row. I don't know.
Thing.
Clinch on the last what?
Last straw of hope.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, that means that DiNG loses every round from here on out, and PENTA wins all of them, obviously.
And it's not like DiNG have been the worst team; they've been the better team. So it'd be quite weird if they lost 4 rounds.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. But I don't know what the community is thinking. What maps are we playing next?
We got Ruinberg and Steps, I believe, next. I have to check that one, but one
I
of
have it
ones.
here. I have it here. It's going to be Ruinberg and then Prokhorovka.
Damn it.
Steps is our tiebreaker this week, or today.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, Steps is our tiebreaker.
Which we haven't seen today, at least.
No, we haven't got that far. 5-2, 5-2. So.
Yes. Yesterday we had the first match.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
And if you want to rewatch that one, head over to youtube.com/WGLEU.
You can't watch it.
At the end of Super Week.
No, the problem was
that
Twitch went down yesterday, remember?
Oh, yes.
So it ruined everything.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
So it's like glued together, like in the back
we have
old
to
time.
glue the VOD together.
So it will take a little longer, but it will happen. So
Twitch crash.
Just
blame Twitch.
Blame Twitch. Hashtag blame Twitch, not blame hockey this time. But let's see. Yes, as said, youtube.com/WGLEU. You can subscribe to our channel to get a notification as soon as we have those VODs ready. And yes, the Twitch fail yesterday was miserably. time, to be honest.
Cut our show right in half.
Yeah, that was really sad. But as Ollie promised, he will sit down in our archives and glue it together himself. So you will have your VODs at some point. It will take a little longer, so be patient with him. If it's not fast enough, just tweet him at LaughterWT and tell him to hurry up.
Easy.
I'm going to glue it together myself. I'm going to get some super glue. Get
Like
one side of the board.
in the old time when they actually really cut the
when
movie
they
video.
cut it and put it together.
Yeah.
That was the better times, I feel. Probably a painstaking process, though. Cut, paste, it was where it comes from.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
It's tough stuff, really. I mean, back in
And I
school.
mean, getting like effects in there, which you have to paint on by hand, frame for frame. Crazy. Are teams ready yet?
I think
Still
we're ready to go.
Still done by some of our competitors with the old reels, I feel.
We're about ready to go. I think we're just waiting for... No, I think they're all pretty much set up here. So we're going to be going to Ruinberg, as we did say. And we have seen always some interesting things here from DiNG on this map. And this is not going to be any exception to you guys. The tank picks are interesting, to say the very least here. We're not actually seeing any CDC cheese coming out from Penta. Double Waffentrager Alpha 100, though.
French cheese.
For DiNG. French cheese.
Yeah. Best kind.
Pick the low-hanging fruit, bro. Keep it up. Double Waffentrager here.
Ask Melly for the fruit, man.
Double batch chat. 2 T10s as well. So there's 2 T9s coming into use here as well. And Artie coming out here for Diplomat.
Yeah, so it looks like DiNG going to go for the similar setup they used against Synergy the other day, and it worked out well for them. Of course, Penta would have seen that match. I'll be surprised if they actually get caught out by it. But yeah, I mean, artillery worked for DiNG. It hasn't worked for a lot of teams, so perhaps not surprising. But it will be a Penta on the defensive side, as you mentioned, and the attacking side is going to be DiNG. But 2 Waffentrager Alpha 100s from DiNG is super heavy and super surprising. Let's see if they can make it work.
Penta wants to just dig their heels in with his 2 T10s, actually. Precursor to the IS-4. Tough nut to crack, even at Tier 9. So, see Mayland and Ragey Potato move into position, skidding, as they do just try and put on the brakes here. Penta haven't pushed anything into the top corner. Note that one there. So, there's a chance here for DiNG to sort of take that area. I think it's because Penta have actually committed a couple tanks here towards the northern side, interesting enough. Makar already getting smacked around a bit. I didn't see that. Went fairly low, probably to the double T10s. Yeah, you can see him reloading there. Nicely done by them as well. Good positioning. They've even done some damage to International.
Yeah, good stuff there. I mean, you can't really argue with that. Interesting lineup, and another shell just going into the side of the International. FV215B can bounce, can side scrape, but not particularly well. And we've seen, like, what, FV215B's IS4s, their IS7s, but 2 Tier 9s is interesting, and good to see the teams actually innovate. But here comes the innovation from Penta, getting destroyed by that Waffentrager.
Yeah, I mean, Shockish doesn't have enough shots to kill these two, but Ragey Potato gets slapped by an Artie shell there. Diplomat getting it done, so some damage now coming back across the table from DiNG. This is good stuff from them.
The thing is, Shockish has actually shot 2 shells, so theoretically, if Penta Sports play correctly, they can kill Shockish. But maybe if they're scared of receiving another shell, there's 2 Waffentragers there. There's a lot of things Penta's thinking about. Ooh, and they do scamper away, but that gives DiNG quite a lot of information. They know that those 2 batchets are no longer aggressive.
So, having done so much damage to Ragey Potato is a good start. That's Diplomat doing work. Mayland hopefully will be the next target for Diplomat as he wants to line him up. These 2 batchets pinned down here on this road as well by 1 Waffentrager, which is not too bad at all. So let's see what he can do with that one. That's exactly what you need to do. This is why DiNG win attacking rounds. Use that Artie properly. Mayland got hammered there by that shot coming in, and now DiNG are in the lead.
Yeah, they're in the lead in terms of HP, barely, but they are. And yeah, I think new multi-show in the dead zone are 2 best players for Penta Sports. Arguably, I'm sure people will give me slack for that. Will give me
slack. No slack for that, mate.
Slack.
Plenty of flack.
I don't know what you call it. Flack for that was the one. That's the word I was looking for.
Not slag.
Not slag for that. No.
Not schlag.
That's the offputs of smelting.
Yeah.
Slag.
Schlag.
So, yeah, schlag. So Diplomat's done his job. There's no spots coming out, so he's going to actually go further right. And I feel maybe DiNG is edged enough of a advantage out that they can actually push forwards, get in towards that cap, and start to work Penta down.
I kind of feel like those 2 T10s, while they're only Tier 9 tanks, bit of a misleading name, Wargaming, fix your life up.
They were called the IS-8 before, I mean.
Yeah. Oh,
That was also misleading because it's tier 9.
Yeah, and then he goes to the IS7 after. It's like brilliant.
But I don't think they name the tanks after the tier they are.
Well, obviously not, but it's still brilliant, bro. Come on. Point is, although they're only tier 9s, they form a pretty central part of Penta's strategy here. And you can see there were the culprits with a lot of the damage going across early on. So having them quite low means Penta actually has to change how they're going to be used. And you can see them backing up towards the north here. So Penta are even expecting maybe with the Waffentrager having so much control of the city and with the Batchats not being allowed to move really from where they are, they're afraid of DiNG maybe setting up towards the city, but this is good. We can see Diplomat now going to actually maybe, will he head up to the back corner? Super dangerous, surely not. If he crosses that road, he's an absolute, one of the bravest players I've ever seen. He might just stay here and see if he can fire in towards the village. He still won't have the best angles to fire from. It's almost like he's like a cat in kitty litter before actually doing his business, just like getting set up, just moving around, just, yeah, all right, much better. Diplomat might find a nice bush to set up in and fire from.
Yeah, he's just going to set himself up nicely. And I think there's more just to keep Diplomat alive than to actually use him as a effective piece. Of course, Penta Sports will have to peek around one of those corners. And Makar's actually been spotted, so DiNG have to be careful. Cap's on the way. And with Diplomat there, Penta will have to do something about it. And I guess the two Batchats in that corner will be the ones to instigate the first bit of aggression. Waffentrager's in the background providing great support. And if Penta do peak, they've got to deal with Diplomat. They've got to deal with his two big old German tank destroyers. And Makar finds Raging Potato in that first T10. God damn it, Mitch, you made me confuse myself.
You okay, bro? All right, Makar there. He's in a nice little spot there, of course, up inside that building. Able to take the shot. He was spotted for a brief period of time, but here comes the counter push from Penta. Now, potentially dangerous, although, not a whole lot of defense set up for DiNG. They've got an Object 140 and a TVP and an M40 if he can make those shots, but a little bit dicey here. The double Batchats, wow, the splash onto them. I don't know if the splash actually, but the shots are coming into them. Really, really nasty stuff there. Makar, the dead zone, this is super risky from him now because International's waiting around the corner. Now, Makar can't actually help, so that is something they're going to gang up onto this FE2 on 5B. But look at what look at the damage they're taking as well to do that. The dead zone shots in from behind, new multi-show. I think Penta might have messed this up here. Fighting Line's been able to move up towards his corner. He's taken a lot of damage to do so. He can harass Shockish from here. I don't know, it's close. It is very, very close. Vale is still healthy. Shockish gets taken down by new multi-show. 4v5, and things might turn around with Hulknik on reload.
Yeah, Line is doing such a great job in that corner. Again, you know, if you have that zero line, you have the whole of the map basically under control in terms of that right side. And Diplomat not being in the fight is kind of slowed DiNG's aggression down. They can't really do much about it. But he's still unspotted thanks to that double push next to Viti. So yeah, I mean, Penta Sports in control of this map. Very close round indeed. Makar, he can't get out of this position full stop. He's stuck there. Malin didn't even get spotted.
Oh no.
And Diplomat's on reload.
Yeah. He's going to die. Straight away. It was almost as if Vale was watching that bush as well, thinking he might be there. So bad news. Hulknik, he's still alive, and Waffentrager, he's reloaded by now. I don't think he can snipe Fighty Line between those buildings. He might wait for him to clear them, but he might be out of sight by then. He is. That's unfortunate. You see him going white instead of yellow. Means that he can't be seen by Hulknik now. 2v5, and it's not looking good for DiNG right here. As Penta have been able to eke themselves out a 1,200 health point lead. They managed to trap Makar inside the little building. Hulknik now has to make his own destiny with 5 shots. I don't know if that's going to be happening here as well. Is he looking for Fighter Line and can no longer see him? Tank destroyers don't have great sight ranges. Who would have thought?
We're covering his position, but not very well.
And it's Driven taken down. I think he just blew his kit, so it's still alive. Unbelievable that actually managed to bounce that first shell, Hulknik. But Derzenictor is on the side, and obviously Hulknik will have the severe advantage. 2 shells. Derzenictor almost throwing.
Yeah, I mean, Hulknik with 2 shells, so Nimulti and Ders could actually go down. That might free up Makar, or at least allow him actually to fire without being worried about dying straight away. So a couple of shots here from Hulknik would be pretty darn important, but he's too afraid to push out and take them. Fair enough as well. He doesn't really know what's going to be waiting for him over that ridge. He's hoping for a shot to Ders and Ishtar. And you note here that Ders has an angle on towards Waffentrager, and Hulknik's now on reload again. Multi's going to come around the corners and try and pick him up as well. Now Makar at least has the 1-shot situation. Hulknik's dead, by the way. New multi-show's found him. They'll be able to pick him up. And there's Ders as well. See, now maybe if Hulknik had saved his shots for Ders and New multi-show would have had them, but this is Penta doing, again, a good job of just keeping themselves alive. They're going to get themselves a round back here, importantly enough, as well. That's the angle that New Multi needs. Pick off Makar. He's on reload, so this is going to drag this one out a little bit longer.
His driver's down. He can't even get out of this.
He literally can't do anything. He can just angle back and forth. Even if someone crests, he still can't kill him. Malin could literally go up there and kill him, but I don't think he realizes that Makar is immobilized in that way.
Yeah, I think it'd be worth it if Malin just goes for it. I mean, he's a 2-shot, so I guess it could go wrong. I mean, there's no way Penta can lose this game full stop. You can't cap with one tank with 1 minute and 30 anymore. And Malin does find their shell just on the bottom of that IS-7's Glacius, and it will be Penta finally to put a round on the board after a very bad Cliff, not such a good Ghost Town, and Ruinberg defense has kind of stopped the rot, I feel like. You know, Ruinberg, a great map if you want to kind of reset yourself as a team for both teams, as the defensive side often goes towards the win often goes towards the defensive side. So it's 3-2 right now for DiNG still.
Yeah, we kind of expected that this might be the case. I mean, if DiNG come out with a very strong defensive round, which we kind of expect from them, then we move on towards that last map, and we'll see how things get tied up there as well. Might go to steps here. Depends how well Penta perform on that particular map. I mean, Prokhorovka, I feel like there's a round there up for grabs for DiNG somewhere here. So they're still looking good, of course, with those 2 rounds early on. But it seems like, well, we've had a lot of games tonight, Oliver, that have been the full 10 minutes here. These teams just really sort of taking their time. I mean, we're getting close to 11 p.m. now, our time. So, if it's past 10:30, it's sort of been some fairly longer games here as well. That culture is going to go down an absolute treat later. Holgnik, 3.2k damage here as well.
Unbelievable. I mean, those Waffentraggers worked out so well for them. But, I mean, the 3 weird tank picks worked out.
Yeah.
Holtnik, Waffentrager, Diplomat, M40, M43, Shockish, Waffentrager as well. It's just the rest of the tanks didn't do anything. Yeah. It's quite surprising.
Yeah, I mean, DiNG lost this game, and they have 3 in the top 3. But this is the problem. Rulzik, Meritorious, and bloody International. Less than 400 damage.
He's such an experienced player, International. I always expect more from him.
Yeah,
They beat my team once.
This sucks. That's not good damage done. That's 12 shots fired for 359 damage.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the matches which you have to go watch and see where it all went wrong, because I have no idea. I mean, I think what happened was that Vitae line got control of that 0 line from Meritorious and Rulzik. I think Mary went down very quickly. And those Waffentraggers just didn't go out. Diplomat didn't do too much. And the Batchats, I thought it was game over when those Batchats suicided in against the FE215B, but they took care of it, and that freed up all sorts of things in that Eastern Village to keep DiNG at bay. And yeah, okay, DiNG had the advantage at the beginning, but how we often see it on this map is that the advantage at the beginning, you need to capitalize on it immediately by getting control of that Eastern Village and continuing to push forwards and keep the aggression. Otherwise, the Eastern Village is just going to be able to poke and continually prod you to death.
Well, we are going to be jumping back into game in just a second now. Well, teams setting up here, of course, for our second Ruinberg round, and we'll have the tank picks available for you guys in just a second. And I'm very pleased about the FE215B183 here for DiNG. A very hard hitter. Probably not going to be firing Hesh this round as much as I'd like to see that. Going to be going with the AP.
Yeah, maybe a bit of both.
To be fair, TVPs and Batchats, they've got nothing that you really wouldn't use Hesh for.
And if you don't penetrate, that's 400, 500 damage anyway. But I mean, the thing is, you got a 25-second reload, so you got to guess right which shell you got to load, and that's the skill with the FE183 always. But yeah, it could work out. So far, I've not been impressed with it. I think we saw Utopia pick it up yesterday on Himmelsdorf. Mucker played it, and he did 2k damage. About 700 of that wasn't particularly useful. But if you do land one of those 1.7k shells, like that's a tier 10 cancelled out of the game. And it's also, a combat tank, so it could work out well. But it's Penta on the attack, and, a very poignant attacking team on this map.
Makar already quite far forward here. Spots the dead zone. Spots those initial fight line. Beautiful stuff there. To spot those tanks so early on is just a godsend to a defending team. Rage Potato fancies a bit of a shot towards Makar as he crosses, but look, information already being given over. Rage Potato actually having no gunner as well, so he's not even going to be using his health pack for that one, so he has to be careful. Wants to spot more than anything here is probably the most important thing for him. But so far, he's just going to have to sit tight as we see the rest of those DiNG tanks get in towards position. I want to see the FE215-183. I want to hear the base cannon go off. That 183mm cannon, just so nice.
You're a base hunter, mate.
Yes.
But this is good from Penta. I mean, they've got all the way to the 0 line. They've got control of that Eastern Village, kind of. They've got that 0 line under control, so they don't have to worry about the resets. You got a TVP and a T54 lightweight up north, which is being controlled by the Waffentrager. I mean, we see a lot of teams these days having that Waffentrager in the Western City just to make sure that it can solo any tank. And honestly, I mean, Penta are ahead in this game, and they're winning the exchanges as well.
Yep. Spot on. You know, you can say what you like about DiNG's lineup here, but this is actually pretty average opening from them. Shockish has been forced back from the position that we saw Penta use their 2 T10s in before. He's had to pretty much, well, from here he can't do much. He can see tanks coming forward. I guess if Penta really want to overextend across the middle road, which they're not going to do. So Shockish, spare leg right now is what he is.
Spare dick, more like.
Yeah, same thing. Didn't want to say it, but you did. I trust you to do that, though. No doubt. So Malin taking a few hits there. I don't actually know. TVP, I think, firing towards Malin there. Not really any significant kind of damage, and the capture point has been moved on to by Raging Potato. I mean, he can't do too much firing. I think he actually has. Yeah, he's given first aid to his gunner there, so his gunner can still fire. And these big tanks, these tank destroyers, not doing a whole lot here. The dead zone going to head up towards that 0 line. And there's a bit of a welcoming party for him there as well. You can see Makabe pushing forward. A lot of tanks going to be waiting for this. It's going to be interesting. I don't think Penta need to push that, though. They don't need to cross the road at all if they want to cap this one out. They can actually just keep doing what they're doing. And Rakar has to go forward now and get some information, of which he's received plenty of shots, but not a lot of information. The dead zone's in a great spot to finish him. And, well, they managed to get each other. Hulknik actually chimed in there, or at least he had to. So the 1-for-1. Bat chat for 54 lightweight, pretty darn good if you're DiNG, but it doesn't solve the issue of the capture, really, which Raging Potato was still just plugging along with. These 2 TVPs here as well, but will be pretty important to dissuade any sort of aggression coming from that 0 line.
Yeah, I mean, DiNG have to commit to this, and they are being punished by Mayland. The bad jet's actually on the rotate, but yeah, you're right. I mean, the dead zone going down is definitely not a good thing here for Penta Sports. He was pretty crucial. And maybe it'd just be a better idea to put the Batchat in the cap and have the RE251 make this push.
Yeah. But
clearly not what Penta wanted to do, and we are getting to that time where the reset has to come in. The TVP is starting to make its way towards that Eastern Village for DiNG.
Oh dear, a lot of damage being done, and none of it by... Oh, there's an issue on fire as well in that TVP, so he's going to have to duck behind the building and just wait for that to dissipate. Meritorious is doing a heck of a... Well, not a lot, to be honest. Now 183. However, what is important is that Mayland is low, Raging Potato also low. New Multi gets double tapped there as well up in the north, so not much he can really do from there. He's got a TVP waiting around the corner to finish him off. He'll fire towards Shockish at least to, you know, fair enough as well. Shockish now will probably have one shot back towards New Multi, who's still on the move. Diplomat is loaded, ready to go. Bounce one off the Batchat, which can be surprisingly bouncy like we've seen. He can at least pin New Multi down, and Multi wants to fight. He's so aggressive from them. Polish star player here, and he's going to go down as a result. So Penta losing him in a important position. Mayland there, just outside the cap on the FE215B with no support anywhere nearby. Vale the only tank that's really looking healthy, and Fightilan, I guess you could say, with Mayland finally going down.
Yeah, this is just a slow death here for Penta Sports, I feel. And we're just going to be going to a 3rd map anytime now. 4th map? 4th map.
Yeah.
As DiNG can just hold that Eastern Village fast, no problem at all. Keep control over that northern side with the TVP. Diplomat did a good job against New Multi-Show, taking down very quickly, not receiving more than he should have done. Not getting outplayed, does Inicta. Now down to a 1-shot, and yeah, I mean, that is Splash actually coming out from Meritorious.
What was that? It was Splash, wasn't it? Yeah,
yeah
from HE or?
Hesh.
From Hesh.
If Hesh doesn't penetrate, it's just a HE shell with more penetration, basically,
okay.
Hesh.
High explosive squash head. Well, I didn't get the finish of Desinista. That's pretty sad, considering that, you know, he's been waiting all round to, like, unleash that gun, and he's not able to do anything with it when it matters. He does 183 damage. It's like a bodybuilder going to, like, I don't know, the Olympia, right? And someone, like, pricks him with a pin and all the air comes out. So, just like that. Raging Potato goes down. Vale is going to be next on the chopping block if he's not careful. Desinista still manages to finish off Rulzik here, but there's still 5 players left. Vale sees Diplomat. Diplomat doesn't see Vale. The Hunter. Now looking to make his shot, and Hulknik isn't too far away as well. Vale is little 1 shot. And he had to turn his gun quickly towards Hulknik. He just got around the corner before Hulknik got the... Yeah, wrecked, bro. What now? As Vale won't have too much time to gloat, I think, because he will be surrounded by Diplomat and Holtnik. Fighty Lion in the TVP at the south of the map. He's been better as well. There's the finish. Diplomat gets him. There's Initia's low. Fighty Lion has 4 shots, and he's not going to be able to really do too much with it. He sees Holtnik. Holtnik sees him first, but misses. And still shot's going to come in. Not a durable tank, the TVP. Fast firing, quick reload. Yeah, okay-ish damage. Yeah, I wouldn't really go. Its penetration's pretty god-awful. So Diplomat will see Fighter Line. First guy who fires sort of wins in that case, and obviously Diplomat there. Man, these guys dragging these games out for
387.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Was it 330? 320. 320, there you go. Holtnik gets the charge in. Sure it's 320?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
It's just the same as like a T62A.
Yep. And there's Des. He'll see Diplomat there as well. He's a one-shot himself. And Penta like to drag a game out. All right, Diplomat. Oh, please. Please, Diplomat. Put him back on artillery. God help us.
Why is Des not pushing?
I don't know.
He doesn't realise he
thinks he still has shots. Oh, that's brilliant. Des could have had his kill there. Oh, what's the point? Like, you are 23 health, last tank remaining.
Diplomat's even have reload. Oh,
that's so
He's
awkward.
a beast.
Let's go, boys. Woo!
He's a beast. He
finished.
soloed everyone from Penta. Great play.
4-2-2, guys. We're flagging a bit. 1 round away from victory, though, is DiNG. Although they may not get it straight away. We might even be going to a tiebreaker here at the end of things. I have to wait and see. But that one was fairly cut and dry, I like to think. I think Penta had chances, but losing the dead zone, losing that bat chat early on really seemed to hurt them.
Yeah, I mean, that bat chat pushed in that right side in the Eastern Village, right? It just pushed in. And how many tanks pushed on in? Like 3 or 4?
Well, it was one. He was actually dueling with like a
T54, right?
Yeah, he'd lost to Makar because he pushed out the T54.
Yeah.
And then basically was a Holtnik on the 50B just jumped out and did one shot.
Out, yeah.
So the fact that he got dueled down so low by a 54 lightweight
with no
is
response
concerning.
either.
Yeah,
no response there, and I think that's probably where it went down. They had the initial exchanges and peaks, so it went really well for Penta, did good damage, and then you have one. Yeah, it's such a fine balance on Ruinberg. You make one mistake, and everything just goes wrong. Like everything you plan for just goes down the drain, and you can see what happened. And yeah, it looks like Holtnik was the man who did the damage in the 50B. Maryland did a good job in the FE215B, hitting the top of the IS-4 continuously. It's really good from him. But yeah, it's going to be 4-2 as we'd expect, I guess, on this one. Moving on to our next map, which is going to be Prokhorovka. So off the city maps onto the more open fields of Prokhorovka.
So yeah, I mean, like we talked about Makar not having too much success in that game, but the Veil as well. Sub 600 damage we saw briefly on the screen there towards the end. He was in the Waffentrager Alpha 100, so someone you would hope was going to be able to do a lot of damage. But Penta bringing that kind of tank on the attacking side, we saw they had the same problems really that DiNG did. That's what we're trying to do, just the same thing. So it didn't really work out for them at the end of things here. And Mayland, the only player with any real respectable damage. Rage Potato getting cancelled out pretty early on in the piece as well. So none of this is good news for Penta in any sort of map scenario here. Tanks are locked in for Prokhorovka, and we're waiting for the teams to give the ready call. Now, match point again for DiNG, just around the corner. I mean, as I said, I feel like there's a round here up for grabs for DiNG if they don't completely screw the pooch on this one.
For Penta, yeah.
I think DiNG can get around here and finish the game.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, they got the better track record on this map by 10%, so maybe we can just cancel that out and just say it was a lucky round. It's pretty even on this map. But what have we got? It looks like we got... I think we've got DiNG on the defensive side and Penta on the attacking side. So we'll have to see exactly how that one works out.
Doesn't always mean a lot on Prokhorovka though, does it, Ollie?
Not too much. I mean, it's one of the most fair maps. I mean, the caps don't really make much of a difference. So it doesn't end up being a lot. But of course, the defense is slightly biased on this map, as you would expect. But I expect DiNG just to be able to close this one out. For me, it felt like Penta's kind of giving up in that last round. But we have seen comebacks from 4-2s. We've seen teams just getting back into... I mean, they only have to win the next, let's say, 10 minutes. Have to play well for 10 minutes.
That's one round by tonight's standards.
Yeah, true. Like it's been a pretty long night. Yesterday we finished at half 11, but we had one tiebreaker. Here we've had no tiebreakers, and it's been pretty long.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between a 3-minute round and a 7-minute round. Like the last 2 games have
It's been like playing around artillery. That's what it's been,
Yeah,
basically,
which,
right?
To be fair, I'm not really complaining. If I get to see good artillery play, then there's no way I'm going to go, it's taking too
But
long.
the difference is between today and yesterday, the game style is basically the same. But yesterday, the artillery players were hitting and one-shotting tanks. Today, they are sometimes hitting, sometimes not, like you would expect with artillery piece to do. And that's definitely slowed the game down a lot.
But Diplomat is on the artillery here.
Oh, Penta's on the attack. Damn it.
They are. Wrecked. Get good, mate. Get good. Penta going to be moving over towards the eastern side here as well. And not even bothering to actually push up into the middle of the map before veering off like we see some teams do. Some teams just want to get some information first. But Penta don't really care about scouting this map out. They're bringing a Waffensteiger as well. An IS-7 up fairly slowly. They're the attacking team, ladies and gents. Don't forget that. So DiNG want good peaks. Here come the blind shots. So all of these are going towards that island here. Everyone is firing. And nothing's going to come with this one. It's pretty unfortunate because that would be nice. But, you know, they haven't given up too much to really do this formation and blind fire. They don't. It's not a risk. They just want to make sure that if they're going to be going that direction, they'll have enough information. Mary's too far away to see these guys. Plus, there's quite a few rows of bushes in front of him. But he takes a shot anyway and is revealed. A blind shot there as well, a little bit risky. Takes a ding, but Diplomat now at least sees DiNG thinking about having a shot.
It's going to take another 20 seconds before he can actually aim down. And you can see what DiNG is going to do just on their setup. They got the 2 IS-7s in the middle so they can put them straight across. The artillery piece just to get the resets. So it's actually a good idea. Like, we see maps, you know, rounds being won and lost on this one, depending on the peaks, because the team who's defending over peaks and takes too much damage.
Yep.
But with that artillery piece, you just need to spot the kappa to be able to reset. So I think this is good for DiNG.
Well, there's an issue now. The STV1 great on this map. He, with enough hull down to actually be able to fire into the tracks. Very, very important to use in this situation. The dead zone takes a glancing hit. I have his track damaged a little bit here, and you can see Shockish and Mokar. So 2 IS-7s here for DiNG instead of the normal 1, which is maybe notable in itself. Dead zone being spotted, Fighting Line taking a big hit. I'd say it's from an IS-7 there.
Mm.
And DiNG is going to be locked in eternal conflict up towards the top side of the map there. As Rulzik and Hulknik just want to get shots, and you can do that with STBs. I really favour them here on Prokhorovka. I think the terrain really lends itself. Vitaline takes another hit there as well. Hulknik finally takes some damage back, but to be fair, pretty good start from DiNG here, just making smart picks, and that is, like you said, how this map is normally decided.
Yeah, so, I mean, Penta's got 2 options right now. They can either just sit where they are currently, or they can go in the cap, and, you know, obviously they need to go for the latter, otherwise there's no point. I mean, DiNG can just sit here and play calmly. You can also see it in a bat chat in the south, probably Multi is starting to creep his way up into the game. Maybe he's going to push in. And, yeah, I think Penta Sports, they could end up pushing a bat chat right across the field, but then, of course, they'll go against that bat chat you can see on the left side. And obviously the bat chat first. Oh, but they are going to push straight across. That's going to be interesting to see if they can work this one out. We have seen this from Penta before, but more when the team was all the way over to the left, and the bat chat has shot and been spotted.
Perfect positioning for the bat chat there. You see Malin in the dead zone already taking some hits. Shockish gets a finish on Vale, and it's caused Hulknik and Co to push over because they know they've got DiNG under their thumb. Hulknik's a one-shot here, but Rulzik is still looking pretty darn good, and DiNG just trying to waste time. Meritorious doesn't even seem concerned about him right now, as that bat chat off towards the side did so much damage. Look at the dead zone. He's a one-shot now. He's probably going to be going hunting for International, but International's going to just get the heck out of here. He doesn't care. He's fired all of his shots. He's done the damage. Penta looking really average. Malin's super low. Dead zone's a one-shot. Malin is about to get double tapped to infinity and beyond by the looks of things. Shockish. Not able to escape there. The TVP fire coming in from the dead zone, but Mrakar, he will oblige. He'll finish Malin off here. New multi-show is off reload, if I'm not mistaken. And International also as well. Diplomat trying to make a shot towards a bat chat. Never going to be an easy thing. The artillery maybe not featuring so much, but DiNG hasn't needed Diplomat to bring this one in their favour.
Yeah, International's getting outplayed by multi-show right now, but it's not going to be enough. It's 3 versus 6. And Penta Sports dwindling in HP as well, so this is not good. You can see DiNG are kind of chasing down the tank that's in A8, A9, and finally do get it. Multi-show just absolutely wrecks International. You can see the player skill factor being a massive thing in 768 in World Tanks in general. And yeah, Raging is going to be a bit of a pest, but won't take long for him to die as well.
Guns damage as well. He can't finish Meritorious, maybe a high roll. No, can't finish him off, so he'll go down. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. It's our third 5-3 of the night. This time DiNG on the delivering end of that one. PENTA have once again really disappointed themselves. Probably, I think they expect more from themselves than this. However, DiNG looking pretty good right now. I mean, like their top 3 team, they rocket now to
Tornado won today.
So. Tornado won. So they rocket to second. They would be first actually if they hadn't Tornado hadn't won. So pretty darn impressive there. It's good to see DiNG up the top. We've got DiNG and Oops there. Kazna challenging. Utopia still in the mix as well. So we've got a really nice spread of teams up towards the top side, Ollie. Can't be complaining about that. Let's we won't get too ahead of ourselves. I want to have a look at the damage count back from this game as well before we get too excited here, because I think, like you said, this map is heavily decided on peaks here. It's peaks until one team gets far enough behind that they decide they have to push, and then things get really interesting. The bat chat was International off from the side. Just brilliant positioning. Yeah. He was there to punish any sort of push coming in from the opposite team, and he was just let a whole clip go. Did 2k damage, which is enough. It's honestly it's enough.
That's all he
because
needs. It was one clip.
It was outside the play. It was damage outside the play. He only really took damage towards the end. So International there, he's right up there. Meritorious in the Object 140, who you noticed didn't actually go after Derzanistra after he hulled over at the train line. He was more interested in just getting the picks up there. So 2700, can't complain.
I feel like if PENTA wanted to win this, I mean, that was never going to work, that whole push across the left side. I mean, they had to do something. I guess they couldn't have gone in the cap. So, I mean, they kind of screwed themselves there. And that position with the bat chat is not unusual these days. We see positioning quite a few times in that area. So, I mean, I think PENTA maybe would have been better to do what we've seen a lot today and yesterday, is just a left side A-line push and just go up there, try and counter the artillery play, don't let it get comfortable, and just send an early scout forwards. But they didn't go for that, and they got punished for it. So it was an interesting game. I mean, PENTA, for them, I mean, they're going to be sticking down the bottom of that table. Last season, they had a blast of a game in the last 3 match days. They need to be getting those points if they want to have even a chance to be in the top 6 right now.
As PENTA have to rescue their self again. Yeah. This is going to be the case. So they've got a few match days left to do it in. They've got one more game to play this week as well. But again, to lose to DiNG here, I mean, DiNG doing pretty well, so it shouldn't be too hard on PENTA, but PENTA needs to be farming these. Not farming. Yeah, they need to be farming wins against the lower teams if they want to be a top team. Here is, of course, our post-match stats. So DiNG logo image with top damage, and so DiNG logo image with second to top damage. So, sorry guys, I had a bit of a crash in our graphics program, but that's okay. Anyway,
software's super reliable.
Yeah, I know. It's not the first time it happens anyway. I think anyone who works in production probably knows that. Melly, here we are, coming towards the end of another show. It's 3-2-5s here as well, but actually, no, I think about it, most of them in the expected results, I feel.
Kind of, but as said, more people actually voted a 5-2 ending in favor of PENTA. It ended up being in favor of DiNG. Of course, we did have enough people voting as well and having the exact result. But congratulations at this point. The winners will be announced end of week, of course, for the past match days as well. Thank you for getting involved. Today that was the last vote at this point, but fear not, we'll be back tomorrow and we'll have more bonus codes to give out and more votes to participate in.
Got another
and of
2
course,
days.
Yes, it's amazing. We're only halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice with different people. Well, Mitch is fine, but...
Mitch is... Oh, he can replace me.
No.
Get Alex to do some
we're
analysis.
keeping you.
I think we should try Alex on analysis.
Because all he's going to do is he's going to walk up here and just be like... Arrow here, circle here, artillery just got damage, bros. Yeah.
Shaking the mouse.
We had Alex on the desk.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah.
He did well.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, explains why he's now our observer and not on the desk anymore.
Because he knows his shit.
Profanities.
Oh, come on.
The one time we never hear Melly. Melly's got the most clean vocab ever, and then she just throws that into the fire. But we can have a look at the match stats. We can have a look at the post-match stats of this game versus DiNG and PENTA. Yeah, you can have that.
After 5 seasons.
You can have that one. Alex will love that you said it about him as well. Mitch
They're
is done.
both getting fired now. Brilliant. Let's have a look at the recap of today's games. We'll skip the match stats now because I'm too tilted anyway. Obviously, today's matches had 3 games as per usual. 2 5s, all of them here. We start off with Tornado Rocks looking fairly strong. In fact, they actually struggled on the first 2 rounds, and it was KB that came back and gave them those, hiding in the first couple, then Tornado Rocks. And it was really a matter of just teams, once they found their rhythm, they just finished things off.
Yeah, I think these are the expected results. If you're looking at the matchups today, considering the results we've seen the season so far, you could say fairly convincing, but pretty close in some ways, the matches. So it was a good day altogether. And more coming up tomorrow, so it's going to be fantastic.
And speaking of tomorrow, let's actually have a look at the ladder. I think we have an updated ladder after tonight as well, so it's going to be even quicker than what we have on the website there. Whoosh. There it is, Tornado Rocks, Wombats on Tanks, DiNG. So all of today's match winners sitting up the top. Oops being shunted down a bit, but never fear. They'll be able to make their way up there in due time, I'm sure.
Fifth to second is just 3 points. So.
Yeah. Which is good. This is what we want to see. We want to see things hanging in the balance right now, and just like their jobs. Hanging right.
I don't know about you, man. I didn't do anything wrong today.
We had
think
one
we're
other
gonna
incident. I think some of our veteran viewers know what happened when we had our producer cutting on me.
Oh,
at
yeah.
a very, very
That was great.
unfortunate
That was actually a mistake, and
situation.
it worked out perfectly. So disappointed no one made a GIF for that. They've got to search back through the seasons.
There is a HD wallpaper of it.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes.
Put it on
I'm
my
not
wall.
proud of it.
Well, guys,
come on.
it's not my job. That's all I'm saying. No, we like a bit of fun here, guys, of course, and never take ourselves too seriously. Let's have a look at the matches coming out tomorrow, because if we don't get fired, we're going to be back, and it's going to be Connect Abroad starting things up again. I seem to get every game that they play just because the god of language is taunting me. I can never say it right, but I'm trying. So, Connect Abroad, strong Siema to start things off with, Ollie.
Yeah, then we got Synergy versus Utopia. Could be interesting. Obviously, Synergy had a good game against Kazan yesterday. And finally, Rusty Roster versus Oops. I think the only one-sided match there could be the last one, Oops versus Rusty Roster. And perhaps that first one, depending how Connect Abroad bounce back from 2 losses in a row.
Well, we've got 3 excellent games tomorrow night. I like to think they're all pretty excellent games, especially when we've seen what we've seen tonight. Some great plays, the 1v1s, the RT doing work. It's all the things that we love about World of Tanks. So, guys, be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m, same time, same bat channel. You can see us crazy guys do our thing yet again. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. See you next time.